Welcome back to Authentic as Fuck. We came up with a name. Hope you guys like it. I think it kind of suits what we're here to talk about and do. So,
yeah, we have the Drake PND album playing in the background. No haters, no haters. It's a good vibe for today. It's Valentine's Day, so we felt like we should kind of dip into our background a little bit and kind of talk about dating in this day and age.
Dating in this day and age, and specifically for us after being in very long-term relationships and coming out of them and it being like Jersey Colina and it being like a completely different world.
Even as simple as the things like social media, because when you're in 20-year relationships, you went into social media as a couple, so you just shared things as a couple. Now it's like, what are the fucking rules? What am I allowed to do? What am I not allowed to do? Who posts what? Who doesn't whatever? What kind of trouble are we gonna get in? Like, it's intense.
It's intense.
So I will kind of say with my background, 21-year relationship, never officially married, but common law. We were definitely partners. We were for sure 3 kids. And I don't even want to speak a lot about him because he's more of like a private person. But I will say, in that 21 years, we never once even separated, like broke up, fought. Like we had arguments, and then it'd be kind of like 20 minutes later, what do you want for dinner? You know what I mean? And then you just kind of go on. So I wouldn't say we had like this tumultuous relationship. Sometimes in life, and this is where I got to the point of, if you look at things and say it's just not there, I had to be honest. And it's like, he always be connected to me. We have 3 children. We're gonna have grandkids probably someday. And we still are a place where we vibe good. But I didn't think it was fair to myself or to him, because I can admit my faults and that I wasn't giving him totally what he needed either. And I felt we have now before we get too old to live the rest of our lives. So that's all I kind of say on that. I just feel like he's happy, I'm happy, our kids are happy. So dating, this is the honest to God truth, you know this. After 21 years, I didn't go out and go like, what's out there? Like, what can I find? I didn't. I really just found one person who I'm currently with now, which is a long distance relationship. I go to the States a lot. Some people don't understand it, but it works for me because I have my time, but then I also come home and I work on myself and I'm invested in my children, and that is my person. So, instead of worrying about the big pictures and stuff, that is what I'm doing. And I'm glad that I don't have to be out there, because the stories I hear and things I see, I'm just gonna say it. I don't want no fuck boy. I don't want no fuck boy. To me, it's a waste to have that personally. Everyone's different, and I don't want to sound cocky when I say this, but it's like, I'd rather be on my own than to be with a lame that wants to be in like so many different places. Yeah. Like, you're no quality to me.
Yeah.
And I always use this quote, and I buy all my girlfriends roses because I'm like, I am fine being home and doing nothing until I see my man, because I can get myself off better than probably anybody else out there.
Especially with her rose.
Yeah. So that's kind of my background.
Okay.
So I mean,
very similar backgrounds in terms of long-term relationship. I was with my ex for 18 years. We had 3 children together as well. And same kind of thing, like, I feel like sometimes, you know, you just outgrow a person, or you end up wanting to go different paths in life, and what once worked doesn't work anymore. There was never, it was the same thing, like there was never any like breakups partway through, nothing like that. Obviously, like every long-term relationship goes through its hard times and like challenges in life, you know, like moving, money issues, people dying, like you go through all this shit in life together. But we never separated partway through our marriage. I will say the last 3 to 4 years of our relationship was really trying and tumultuous, like in the sense of it was COVID, we were stuck in the house together, like a lot of issues came up at that time. We had 3 very small children at that time, like it was just a lot happening, and we faced some challenges. I knew for me personally it wasn't gonna continue, and eventually we came to terms with that. We did live together for a year after like we called a separation, you know, for the kids' sake and for financial reasons. Like it was just we couldn't move out separately at that time. It just wasn't financially possible. So we lived separately in the home, but it was a very trying, challenging year. I moved into my own space last January. He moved into his own space last January. We sold our house, like all that stuff. So, yeah. And since then, I've just been doing my thing, focusing on my kids, focusing on me. I've never been on a dating app. It is scary shit out there.
Oh, yeah.
The stuff you hear, and like ghosting, situationships, like all this shit. Like, not gonna lie, I've seen some shit. I've been through some shit in the last couple of years, but like I've never, I don't know. It like for me, it's really hard to put myself out there after such a long time invested with someone. And I feel like the culture, the dating culture these days is hookup culture. People get into relationships because of what someone can do for them, whether
Right.
that's financial or connections or whatever. It's hard to know, in my opinion, if someone is genuinely interested in you for the right reasons, or if there's some sort of prerogative, like, and pure loneliness. Like, I feel like people nowadays have a really hard time with being alone with themselves.
Yes, I think people try to fill themselves up instead of work on themselves, and they do it with validation, ego, and sex. You know what I mean? Like, poor me, or I'm not feeling like this. Instead of me working on myself, I'm gonna go sleep with this person and this person, and it doesn't fill the person. Anybody that, let's just be honest, anybody who's a hoe that might act like they're living this great life or whatever, at the end of the day, when they're alone, they don't feel fulfilled
Right.
by that behavior.
Yeah,
Because
like it might feel good at the time, but like when you're sitting alone the next day or that night or whatever, after you've
it's
been
not
with
feeling.
someone,
It's
no,
not feeling.
like
Everybody
you probably feel
wants,
like shit, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
everybody wants more, right? Everybody does. Nobody wants to be like. Why would you want to just do that? Like, okay, I should recorrect myself, because I'm sure there are people out there that that's their life. They don't want to get married. They just, but the thing is, it comes with accountability and honesty. Are you speaking that truth?
Yes.
Are you leading motherfuckers on? Excuse
Yes.
my language.
No, it's
right?
true. That's true.
And going about being schemy and snaky, right? Like, you need
That's
to.
where the genuine
Yes.
part comes in.
And I've had a conversation with different men before where they've said, like, okay, no, this is where I'm feeling frustrated, because I will tell a woman, this is kind of what I'm looking for. I'm not really into this. And then what he said was then the woman wanted more. And that is so true. And we can't even dispute that. Us as women, we do catch feelings. That's why I've always said, oh, hell no. I've learned a situation where I can't do this. This is not me. I'm not built for this, because I will. I can't sleep with a man and be like, okay, whatever. He might be out with Shauna and Felicia. No, fuck that. What are you doing Friday? Because I just slept with you. and that is how I would be. I would be that Scorpio, kind of a little bit borderline psycho. Like, where are you? What are you doing? Like, you now like are interconnected to me.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm not built for
can
it.
share.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not built for that stuff. And I mean, some people can, and that's your business. But be authentic and upfront about that.
Yes.
And I feel like men, you can tell us if this is correct or not. And I see it a lot, and I feel for the men in this case, because I feel like that then it becomes a recycled problem, is that men feel like there's so many of these women out here these days that are like, what can you do for me? Can you pay my rent? Can you get my hair done? Can you do this? Just because you're lying down with a man, that's not how it works. Like,
No.
We're all grown adults. Take care of yourself. And men, especially men that you're just dating or sleeping with, don't owe you shit like that. It should be that you get a bond, you guys, date, and then you go to the next level, you fall in love, and then you build together.
Mm-hmm.
Not anybody owes anybody anything.
No.
So it's like, it's just very backwards these days. So then men get frustrated because they feel that's all the women want. So then they're just like, well, shit, I'm just gonna like sleep with this person, and then the women feel like that they're not getting a quality man because it's just a bad.
It's a fucked up world. And like Nikki and I talk about this all the time, how, we're very caring people. Like, we've been mothers for years, we've been wives for 2 decades, 20 years, and it's just in our nature. And like, we grew up in a different time. Like, we're a little bit older than a lot of the women in the dating scene these days, and it's just in us to be very nurturing and mothering and wife material. Like, we like to take care of our people. And I think from what I hear from any men that I talk to is that that's not common these days. And I think it goes both ways, though. It's not common for women to be like that for their men, or like as single women, and it's the same thing. It's not very common for men to be like the traditional man that was kind of in our dating time, like in our 20s, whatever. I feel like it's very just like everyone's out for themselves, and it's like you either fit into my life the way that I need you to, or like, I don't know, it's very,
Absolutely,
it's different.
and this is like
art.
this could be a whole other topic, but that stems from like men not lacking, but the fear of expressing that they have emotional capabilities, because they're always told like, man up, don't bitch about it. Like, I'm the man, I'm doing this, I'm tough.
You need
blah,
to
blah,
provide.
blah. Yeah.
So Nikki and I, after recording the episode, found that we got cut off partway through because storage was full on the device we were recording on. So I'm just gonna give a brief synopsis of kind of like where we ended up with the conversation, and then if there's anything that you guys want us to expand on, which I'm sure like we will regardless. We touched on a lot of points, and I feel like there's a lot of things that we need to dive deeper into. But where we kind of left off was men feeling like they can't express themselves and emotional intelligence. And we just said that how we both find it extremely attractive for a man to be upfront with his emotions and be able to speak on how he's feeling. And as much as society looks at it, or it seems to look at it as like a weakness for a man to be emotional or express his feelings, and that they should man up, all the typical old school mentality, we both find it very attractive and different for a man to be able to speak on his feelings and to be emotionally intelligent. And it kind of goes both ways in the sense of men and women aren't really authentic. They don't really sit with themselves and their feelings long enough to actually know, what's really going on, and that people use distractions a lot to kind of avoid, feeling those feelings, and truly getting to know themselves on a deeper level. So we kind of just talked about that for a little bit. And also just how, the dating culture is very different from when we grew up. There's a lot of, more natural connections. You met people in more organic ways, whereas today it seems to be mostly on dating apps, and there is still some organic connections out there that meet in different ways, but a lot of it is, through dating apps or through friends or whatever. So we kind of just feel for the people that are really putting themselves out there in the dating scene and trying to meet that special someone, and how difficult and challenging it can be, the way the world is these days, with the hookup culture, with ghosting, situationships, and all that shit. So we really just hope that you all just take care of your emotional well-being. You see your worth, you know what you deserve, and you don't settle for less, because a lot of people in this day and age are settling for relationships that aren't truly what they want. But that fear of being alone drives a lot of people to stay in situations and relationships that otherwise they would peace out, or they should, for their own true happiness. I feel like a lot of people maybe are unhealed and don't realize that their happiness is important, and that they deserve the love that they want, that they deserve someone who speaks the love language that they need, where their sex drives match up. And I think there's a lot of mismatched people out there, and they stay together for the wrong reasons. But we just hope that you find love and happiness, and self-love. Self-love is kind of the first step to being able to love someone else. And so we hope that you all find that. But anyways, that was it for this episode. We are going to record a new one next week, so let us know if you have any thoughts on what you want us to talk about next. We're gonna record on Wednesday or Thursday, and we will be posting every Friday, bright and early, so that you guys have Friday and the weekend to listen, watch, however you want to partake in this little podcast thing we got going. And we will be more organized in the near future. It was either wait to start or just start. So we just said fuck it, and we started. And so it's a little bit chaotic and a little bit unorganized, but we'll get there, I promise. But that's it. Love y'all. See you next week.